Hello, and welcome to this very special edition of Korea on Location. I'm Army Sergeant Edwin Pierce. This week, I will take you with me on a very special tour that I got to participate in recently. The tour started off at USAG Yongsan and took us across the peninsula. During the tour, we got to learn about the Korean culture and its history. On our first stop on this 3-day tour, it was at the ROK Navy 2nd Fleet Command located near Pyeongtaek. Soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, spouses, and DoD civilians all got to experience a different side of Korea during a 3-day cultural tour. The day started with a tour at the museum that talked about the history of the Korean Navy. The museum featured displays that depicted the stories of different confrontations between North and South Korea throughout their history. The main one pertaining to a tragic event that took place in 2010, the sinking of the Chonin. Here, we got to look at pictures and memoriam to the service members that lost their lives on that day. Then, we also got a very unique chance to see the actual wreckage of the Chonin in person and to see the devastating damage done.
So that's the reason why both members were found in the transition.
We're doing a cultural tour over the ROK Army and the neighboring villages just to, have an open mind and everything about Korea as a whole. I mean, because we don't get a whole lot of opportunities as soldiers to go visit and go see what's out here, but get the opportunity to check it out and see what they have, and it's really neat.
Neat indeed, because the tour then continued with a visit to the Korean Presidential Villa. The villa is located in one of the most beautiful parts in all of Korea, Cheongnaemdae. There, they got to take a tour of the house and walk around the property to see all the majestic beauty the land had to offer. The villa used to be solely used by the president, but it was open to the public for touring in 2005. The president still occasionally will shut it down to spend time there, but more often than none, leaves it open for the public's enjoyment.
So it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to what's happening next.
Awesome.
Cool.
At the end of the day, the attendees enjoyed everything Day 1 had to offer, and like Specialist Doiron said, they were looking forward to what was next. On Day 2, their tour took them to a rare Buddhist temple in Korea. Here, they got to take pictures and get a brief history of the temple, as well as of its grounds. The tour guides gave detailed descriptions of what each landmark meant and its purpose. Also, during the walk on the grounds, they learned about how Buddhism became a religion within Korea and why this temple was so well protected.
On visit to the temple, practically we need a waterway or the stepping stone.
So far my favorite thing is the gold statue. She's really cool. She's got candles underneath her, she's got some interesting things in front of her, and then the fact that she's gold, that's really cool.
After that, the tour took them for a quick look at the Korean fine china factory. They saw a video on how china making in Korea was started, and then they got to go down into the factory to see how the system makes all the different types of dishes. They walked around to see how the china goes from a big block of clay to its final product. After the fine china factory, the group went to a banquet-style Korean lunch. There, we got to try an array of foods that the Korean culture had to offer. As far as I could tell, everyone enjoyed the lunch and had at least one thing they liked very much. The last stop on Day 2 was to Cheongju National Museum. While there, we got a quick class and a chance to make craft works. Everyone in the class made a unique pencil case that had a little bit of Korean flair to it that we got to keep as a gift to remember their trip to this museum. After that, they received a history of the Katusa program from a former Katusa soldier that was in the Korean War, and a brief explanation of what the museum had to offer.
We introduced a simple Korean history to understand this museum.
From there, the groups broke out to explore and see more of the museum. One of the soldiers enjoyed her time so much at the museum, she was left with few words.
I don't really know exactly what advice I would give them, because I would just definitely tell them to do anything you can while you're in Korea, and this tour has given me a chance to do a bunch of things that I don't think I would have had the chance to do if they didn't offer this tour. Like as far as making this or going to the temples or this museum, I had no idea this museum even existed before this tour. I really appreciate them doing this tour, and I appreciate being chosen to do this tour because not everybody gets to do it, and I think everybody should have the chance to do so.
The day came to a close with everyone seeing a special performance at the theater in the museum. It was a traditional Korean fan dance that made a great close to all the group had seen and done. And into our final day, it started with us going to a memorial to pay respects to the fallen troops of the Korean War.
Present. Mark.
This memorial was also unique because it was at this location where the first fight between American and North Korean soldiers took place during the Korean War. The group walked around and got photos and prepared for the long day that was still ahead.
We went to the Task Force Smith Memorial, which was very, very interesting.
The group then got to go to enjoy a very special lunch.
Right now we're actually at a traditional Korean restaurant. So got to sit down Indian style, really take in the culture.
They tried a variety of courses served to them, special for just those on this tour. It was around 7 courses in total. Sergeant Wisher also had this to say after the meal.
I would tell them definitely to get outside, whatever base they're at, get outside their barracks and really take in the culture here.
Following lunch, the group went to the folk village to see how not too far in the past the Korean people lived. The folk village is the largest of its kind in all of Korea. While here, they also got to see a traditional farmer harvest dance. Following that, we got to see a performer show his skills on the tightrope.
It's definitely worth it because you get to spend time together, get to see all the sights and learn so much.
Same here. If you have the opportunity to go out there, explore, visit places that you probably will never get the chance to visit before, go ahead and do it. It's awesome.
Soon after, the group got to spread out and tour the grounds on their own. There, they were able to see everything from traditional homes to the old way of living.
We enjoy everything about it. It's beautiful out here. And what do you think about it?
I think it's beautiful. Lots of good pictures and learned a lot.
Learned a lot they did as they toured on the grounds and got a thorough look at what the village had to offer. The final part of the tour was a thank you dinner in Seoul that had an array of surprises honoring those that participated in the tour. Each of the services received an award as a thanks for their partnership in the defense of the Republic of Korea. From the amazing food served to the great atmosphere, the night was full of pure enjoyment and fun.
Through this event, American soldiers can travel around Korea and see how much Korea has developed. The U.S. has enabled Korea to develop by providing a strong security. Americans should take pride in the work they do, and I hope this tour is the best memory they have of Korea.
The deputy commander of USFK was on hand for the evening as well and had this to say.
Well, of course, this is the strongest alliance in the world. And to have our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines able to spend 3 days learning more about the Korean people, about their culture, and how gracious they are, that just brings our bonds even closer together. And so as a leader, that's a terrific thing.
The night came to a conclusion with a once-in-a-lifetime performance from a very special group of young, talented performers. The most amazing thing about this show is that all of the girls in the performances' ages ranged from 5 to 15. That brings us to the end of this very special 3-day cultural tour. For this limited edition Korea on Location, once again, I'm Army Sergeant Edwin Pierce, and thank you for tuning in to AFN. See you next week for our regular scheduled Around the Peninsula. Good night.